Sorry, Madi. Don't pick your nose. All right. Okay. Well, you taught this week.
I did not teach.
Saturday. That's right. Becky taught for you, and then
Last Friday.
you did. Okay.
Thank you.
You know what? Just for the sake of bringing it up, how do you feel? Why did you? I mean, you don't have to say like, why did you get a sub? But when you did get a sub, like, how do you feel about letting go of that and not teaching? Just cause.
I felt super guilty. I mean, like before, I was like trying to decide if I want to teach or not, and I was like asking Colton, like, what do you think, should I teach? He's like, it'll probably make you feel better. But then I was like, but I feel like crap, and like I just don't know. And so then I just asked, and I was like, if someone can, then that's my answer. But if they can't, I will just commit, and I'll be there, and whatever. And so you could, and I thought that was great. And then I just have not been feeling good at all. And yeah, just like a lot of guilt, a lot of like.
Okay, so what do you feel guilty about specifically? Like, not if your class, your responsibility, and you gave it up, or not keeping up with your teaching?
Not taking care of myself enough.
But that's what you did. So not.
It feels like I'm not,
because you
obviously
got sick?
I got sick. Yeah, so it's like something's telling me I'm not taking care of myself like I should.
That's really hard, though. You are around the sickness all day, every day. I mean, I'm sure there's one more fucking thing, 10 more things you could be doing, but like you can only do so much too. So just part of that's you gotta go. I can only do so much. If I'm gonna choose a few things, do a few things on purpose so you don't feel guilty. But like you don't have to have a list of dozen things that you know you could be doing to hopefully not get sick and then always be there to teach your class. You know what I mean? Just pick 2 things. Go. These are the 2 things that I know I can do to help whatever that. I know that I'm doing something. These are attainable goals for me. Whatever it is. Like say it's take magnesium. I don't know what the thing is.
Well, I bought like vitamins and stuff, but then I don't take them.
So
it's like
I'm
I
the
need
worst vitamins. Vitamins don't work out for me. I'm terrible at antibiotics. All of it. We're like, I can eat gummies. Actually, that's for somehow that sounds better. Why are gummies easier?
I don't know.
I think you're right. No, I think you're right. That's why I'm laughing. Because it is candy. Okay. Well, I just wanted to ask just because I think sometimes not teaching is important to talk about too. Like when I leave, I feel all kinds of things and emotions about not being here to teach and like hold up my end of the bargain that I started and I should be there to like, you know, keep things going. And sometimes just go, give in and go, you know what, I also needed this. And when I was in Louisiana, I had to remind myself like 5 times what Courtney said, like, you can leave, you can take some time off, you can not think about the studio, like it's good for you. And I was like, like I almost got like teary-eyed now too, because I was like, she's right, like I like attach myself to it, and I have to remember like if something goes down, like I don't go down with it. I'm just like, you know, we all do a little bit, but I don't go down with it. It's not attached to me. It's not pulling me under the ocean, and it never will. It's not meant to be that way. I mean, it never has been. I didn't build it that way, so if that's happens to be how I feel about it, it's my own shit. I'm letting it hold, you know.
I think it pulled me because like Thursday night, I was so stoked. I was like gonna write about like trust and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I was really excited, and then I woke up Friday and I was like, I feel like crap. And I stayed home, obviously, which I feel bad doing because I need a sub at work too, and I needed a sub for yoga. And then I was just like, ever since then, I just have been in this funk where I just feel like whole bunch of disappointment. Like I'm just like a disappointment and like
disappointing other people, not being where you're supposed to be, fulfilling your obligations,
starting my year off like crap.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just been heavy. But
I mean, as part of that, can you acknowledge part of that that's out of your control?
Yes.
Like what?
Me getting sick.
Okay. And what's the best thing you could do to serve yourself when you're sick? Could you have done something better? Or did you do what you should have done?
I was stressing a lot about
what you were missing?
Yeah. And it felt like I wasn't relaxing. I was like up and I was like, well, since I'm at home and I don't feel good, I can write. And I was like trying to do homework. Or like, I can clean now, or like I can organize. And I didn't organize, I didn't clean, and I didn't relax. I was just like freaking out about everything. So
If you could, in hindsight, if you could go back and choose something different, just curious, what in the world might you have chosen? Just slept.
Yeah,
Just
I
rested.
just slept. And I didn't sleep. I tried. I acted like
How hard
I
did
slept.
you try?
Not very. I mean, I was just freaking out.
Okay. I'm just asking you this question so that maybe, just maybe, the next time it comes up and you notice you're doing things, you're trying to make your, because I have a feeling you're going to get sick again. It's coming up. This is the season. So just maybe, now that we just said it out loud, you're going to go, I'm doing the thing I always do. I really just need rest right now. And hopefully you go, okay, and you try. Who knows? You might not, but just saying it just in case.
Yeah, because when I get sick and I can't leave the house, I'll do things in the house.
You
It's
just
like
keep
I
yourself
never,
busy.
Yeah, I
never
keep
just
myself
rest.
busy. I never rest.
And that is the fastest way to healing when you get a bug or something, literally sleeping through it and filling up on, whatever immune system boosting things you could possibly get your hands on. But yeah. All right. Are you feeling better now, though?
No.
Oh, no.
I feel like
gone?
I mean, no. Like, I woke up today and I could not stop coughing, and I literally threw up a ball like this of green looking raisins, and it's just mucus that's not I don't know.
It's just hardened a little bit, raisins?
Chunky? It's hard mucus.
Was it bloody like a raisin?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I got to work and I'm my coworker's you don't feel good, do you? I was like, no. And she's like, dang, what the heck? And I just felt like I was gonna faint half the day, and then I don't know. What's wrong? Just need to go to the doctor probably, but
maybe.
And it sucks because I'm missing yoga, and then I'm not moving. I need to go on a run. I don't know.
Move your body.
Just
move your body. Mm-hmm. Even when you're sick, you need to move your body for sure. For sure. Probably more so, but intentionally, right? Rest. And then when you do get up, move your body more like you mean it rather than stick around all day and keep yourself busy. But I feel you. All right. Well, if you need us or anything, don't hesitate and try to work on the guilty part.
Yeah,
I mean, listen to your body.
Yeah, always.
You're not disappointing anyone.
No.
We're proud of you taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Prefer that choice.
It takes
always.
And I was reading one of Brené's books, and she was it takes courage to ask for help. And I was I need to ask for help. And so that's how I was I need to take
good.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's very scary to do that. So.
Yeah, it sucks.
Gotta have courage to ask for help.
Yeah.
Gotta have courage.
Yeah, I feel like we all have that feeling of disappointment.
Fuck yeah.
Feeling crap, but again, like you said, it's out of our control, and the best thing we can do is get the help so we can get better. When we just ignore it, then we're just gonna get even worse and end up in the hospital or something.
Yeah.
Right, or down for the count for real for a few days, so you really, really can't get out of bed. Sometimes that's actually the thing is God, if I just would have listened and would have rested, I might have not had to end up in bed altogether.
Prioritize you. Well, and I mean, you've got sick people that you're working with, and then also the holidays just happened, which really affects me and I think a lot of people.
Yes.
Even if you like people,
Yeah.
but it's just exhausting. It's a weird time of the year where you're just seeing all sorts of family. It's crazy. Seasons changing and doing crazy stuff. Then you're moving on top of that.
Yeah, you're moving right in the middle of that.
I know. I thought it was a good idea until
when it's over, it will be a great idea. It will have been a great idea, but it's just not over yet.
So just give yourself some grace. I know it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not judging you.
No, ever. Never.
I know you guys aren't. I'm judging you.
I know.
Yeah. And I love that you ask when you wonder and you're curious and you're, making shit up in your head. You're like, am I making this up or is it real? Because there might be some real behind it, but just want to make sure that everyone's clear in their communication. Okay. What about you? How was teaching for Madi? Because that's all you did? Because you didn't teach Thursday. That's right.
And I'm glad you got to do that again.
And redeem yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you both I redeemed myself. So it was really good. My goals, because it was last second, so I was just like, your goal is to not stress about this or overthink it. just let things flow.
Yeah.
And
That's like what my goal was last.
Good.
time.
Oh, really?
So that's
It's all the good energy in there.
Yeah, it was
Good.
nice. I was just like, okay, try to use that smell stick. I always forget what it's called.
Palo Santo.
Palo Santo. Yeah, they're just like little small things that I wanted to do. And just like walking around using a theme that I used for a previous class. And so it was about the breath again.
Nice.
So it's nice to be able to use that because there's all different people and feel more comfortable,
Good.
confident saying it again. So yeah, I achieved all my goals. I forgot to use my little singing bowl, so I didn't achieve that one. That's okay. But it was really cool because I was just like, I was at work and I was like, I'm not even gonna think about this, and went to the yoga studio like 30 minutes beforehand, and I was like, I'll use a past routine, and then I was just like, I'm not even gonna look at my past routines. I just like quickly made something up.
Whoa,
Wasn't even
Courtney.
caring.
Whoa, who are you?
I know, it came out of nowhere. And
It's
I
not
was
weird when you
yeah.
don't stress about it. It's just like
Yeah, I think that's the
Sometimes it
issue.
flows.
So if I know there's a date coming up, then I'll way over plan, way over stress.
And this was quick, yeah, last
Yeah,
minute.
and so since it was last minute, I was like, you can't overthink this. Like you just
I
gotta
should
let it
only
happen.
teach classes last minute when someone asks me. You only ask me this the day before.
Or the day of. Yeah.
like the day of.
Yeah.
Oh, was it the day of?
Yeah,
Damn.
that's why. Because if it was the day before, I would have spent the entire night.
Oh,
before.
thinking about
And it was
it.
like 6 hours before too.
Yeah, so I had to work until 5.
Oh
then
yeah,
I
and then you have
just-
to go. Just,
I went home real quick and had dinner, and I was like, oh, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna work on some stuff. I went home and I was just like, nah, I'm gonna eat dinner. I'm gonna relax real
proud of
quick,
you
do
right
the
now.
dishes. So yeah, it was crazy, and it went really well, and felt comfortable and calm, and the people seemed really receptive. Like there were several people at the end of class, they're just like, oh, I really enjoyed that. Good, nice.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I felt like I redeemed myself from my last class's insecurities. I was relaxed. I made up a sequence. I'm on the spot. Well, 30 minutes before. Wasn't stressing. And I had a strong voice, which was fun for me.
You always.
I
have
love.
a
Yeah, I was gonna
strong
say. I love
voice.
that this is the time she noticed it. She was all. I had it because
No.
she felt it.
Yeah, I felt that other times
felt
my
it.
throat is strained, and it's
Maybe you're
frustrating.
good at like faking because you have to sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure no one else can tell.
Yeah,
it's
but you can feel it.
frustrating for me.
Mhm.
But it's nervousness, it's insecurities, it's anxieties that's clogging me up.
So
But I
glad
was
that
just
you
like,
felt that.
whatever, man. I had a couple word and music fumbles, but I didn't even care. I was just like, this isn't even phasing me. I was like,
I don't
whatever.
get it. Like, did you just
I
have a
know.
good week or something? What's going on for
I
me?
don't even know. It was
You must be
great.
growing. That's all I can say.
Must be growing.
Well, we had just had the conversation about faith, and that
Oh.
was kind of what I was doing. I was just like,
Faith, believe it's gonna work
yeah,
out.
I was just like, let go and let faith, man.
I love it. I
So I
love
was
it.
like all on this faith high. It was weird.
So good. So good.
And I like moved around, and I'm so excited when we can talk about assists because I want to do them, but I feel stupid. But at one point, people were in like a seated forward fold, and I like came up and like put my hands on them, and I was like, feel my energy in my head. It was probably
That's
super
awesome.
stupid.
No, sometimes honestly, okay, the like sometimes the best assist is just you're putting your hand there and then they go.
Yeah, and I felt that.
That's it. Like you don't have to do anything. It's
Yeah.
just like you said. You're giving them I'm giving them the good energy,
Yeah,
never
and they
thought
probably
about
were like,
Yeah.
if you touch them,
Yeah,
they
because I do. it
they
when
like
you guys do
recognize
to me.
it. They're like, and you're all, I didn't even do anything. You're like, cool.
Yeah.
And you could apply pressure, and that's what we're gonna talk about. But the point is, like, sometimes that's all you need. And then,
I was like feeling like ballsy.
I love
that's
it.
the thing. I was just
Ballsy.
like,
touching people.
I don't know.
This
It
coming
was
from
weird.
the chick who's all like, I don't know about consent. I don't know if people are gonna be okay with it. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I just went in. I went in for the touch. They went in, they relaxed under my hand. It was awesome. It
So I'm
was.
super happy.
That's great.
Yeah, I think it's awesome to be able to sub because it's like you get to still practice a class that you don't normally do. And I'm like, oh, cool, let's try this out again. Anyway, that's long. It always
Cool.
is.
That's okay.
I wanna make it short.
We are nearing the end of getting to talk so much about classes because eventually we won't be able to talk so much. So now it's like it's good. So keep talking now while you can, remembering those goals. Speaking of, I'm gonna read Kylie's. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Zoom video. I hope it doesn't go away.
I think it's still recording because of the green.
Oh, up here. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to start reading. All right. She said, my goal when teaching vinyasa this week was to have a game plan, but kind of improvise as I went. I chose an old class from November and initially planned on doing it exactly how it was written. After class filled up and there were a few new faces and one lady who had never been to yoga, period, I decided to say F the plan and kind of just do me. Looking back, this could have gone really wrong, and I'm not sure how Vise will feel. And I'm definitely ratting myself out here, but it felt good to have the tools and knowledge to just teach and not worry about my notes or what's coming next. I kind of just felt it out.
And that was New Year's Day?
I'm assuming this was Tuesday, this past yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday, because she had said that we briefly talked, and she was like, because she was gone all weekend, she didn't have a lot of time to put into it. She just kind of fell back then. All right. That being said, I wouldn't want to always go about teaching in this manner. Kind of irresponsible to not be prepared, which I was prepared. Just decided last minute to switch it up. I do like creating new classes and using fresh ideas, but it was a nice challenge to myself under pressure. I took my responses from last week and just turned them into bullet form and reflected on how I could achieve these wants. My mind wants everything to be perfect without any effort. If I could just picture things and they would happen, my mind would be content. Wouldn't we all? Thanks. I know, you're right, Kylie. We would all be that way. Fuck, if I could just make this beautiful picture in my mind real, cool, life would be so magical. All right. It wants knowledge. Or no, sorry, I skipped something. Perfection.
Is this the
This is part of
discussion?
it. This is part of what she said. If I could just picture things and they would happen in my mind, I would be content. Perfection is impossible. Get over that idea. Instead, focus on improving in the things you do. Practice yoga more on your own. Pay more attention to details. Pick and choose the things that really matter to you and make those a priority. It wants knowledge. Read more books, invest more time into learning new things. Stay close with people who share the love of knowledge and can contribute to yours. Be brave and bold in what you choose to read. Take suggestions from other people. It wants to be understood by me and others. Oh, you know what? Sorry. I'm going into everything else she wrote about.
My wants?
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Let's talk about her teaching. Go back to the Zoom camera. I think since it's just me and you for now. Back to her teaching. So, didn't you wing it recently? Not completely wing it. Kind of what Courtney was saying, like 2 weeks ago-ish.
Yeah, I've kind of been winging it a lot more.
Yeah.
And it just feels good. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm glad you guys are all kind of doing
Yeah.
it all at the same time. Like you
Yeah.
finally got to the point where you're like trying it and it's working.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
Like,
Kylie. So don't feel bad about that. You're all
Yeah.
doing it right now.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that she can, like, pick out the good stuff. Like, not worry about the bad stuff. Like, you know, she could.
Oh, when she talks about her
Yeah.
critique of herself.
Yeah, like.
Do you say that because you criticize yourself?
Yeah.
You're more like, this is the bad thing, this is the bad thing, not the good
Yeah,
things.
so I think I admire that a lot.
Maybe that should be your goal the next 2 times you teach.
Yeah.
You're going, just ignore every single thing that I could fix. And then just write down or jot down on your phone every single thing that went. You're like, that I liked or went well, or that you were like, I want to recreate that or whatever. And just try to let go of those things that you're all, dang it, I could have done this
Like,
better.
you can acknowledge it, but you
Just don't write that right now.
Yeah, and I
Don't
think that's
like commit that part to memory.
I think that's cool that
So Kylie was talking about how she kind of wung it too. She had a plan, but then when she saw who came in, she decided to let the plan go and change it up too. And now she really liked doing that. So I think it's interesting how you've all been doing that right now. I think that's cool because when there comes a point where you don't want to rely on your notes, you just want to know that's a tool. That's one way you can go about teaching a class. Like sometimes you can't use the notes that you brought and you have to figure out something different. So, or sometimes you just don't have until right before to come up with a game plan. And then you get really clear and structured and attentive and you just go, this is it. And then either it works or it doesn't. When you go to, I'm sure like maybe some of the poses you made up didn't work out in the order or whatever. Maybe you changed them, but you have to be willing to make that shift. And like you were saying, like about faith, like you have to like have faith and trust not only in yourself, but like trust that like the knowledge that you have from what you've learned so far from your own practice, from teacher training, like is enough, because it is enough. It was enough before we started training, even though it didn't feel like it then. It didn't. You could have taught people things. Now, with all the knowledge you have, you can teach just so many more things. And every time you practice, and practice meaning practice teaching, like you get better at teaching the things that you know. But it all really has to do with what you know. So you should all be able to wing it sometimes, because you should just be teaching what you know. I'm giving you new stuff to think about, but until that stuff actually sinks in, like mobility stuff and things like that, until you have an experience where it really starts to make sense why you would want to do that, or why it happens to have a let's just, I don't want to say positive, I'm going to say positive for lack of a better word, a positive impact on you, like why you would want to also teach it because of your experience. That's when you share it. You don't share it necessarily before. You can, because I asked you to try it, but like maybe that's just to see what happens, see how people receive it, and if it even seems like it, you know, if it connects any dots for people. If it doesn't, then you go, okay, I'm still not there. I don't quite know why I'm doing that. I'm just trying to figure it out, and that's okay too. The point is 90% of what you teach is what you already know. So wing it whenever you need to. I appreciate that you're not in trouble. You're allowed to wing it whenever you want. I'm glad you guys did.
I feel like a lot of times when I do wing it, I've just noticed my classes are a lot of the same things. I've been teaching a lot of the same things, and I'm like, I don't know, it's good because I know I can teach it without notice. Like,
right.
I can tell you.
But
right
you will go to your go-to. So if you never make a plan, then you're gonna be teaching the same damn class all the time. Yeah. So like, and the same with me. Then I'll get in like little like just grooves of like a specific go-to for like right now this week we're doing a bunch of chair poses, a bunch of eagle, whatever it might be, or the specific sequence, and that's okay for a little while. You just, as long as you're always aware of it, like, okay, I've won 3 classes in a row, and now I know I'm doing the same shit. So next one I'm gonna plan and try to pick out 3 completely new things that I never teach or haven't taught in the last 3 weeks. That's just my recommendation. If they only see you once a week because you only teach one class, like it's okay to repeat shit sometimes. But I like the idea of just taking a moment once you know you've been doing it, get out of the groove, make a new groove just because you have been, and maybe the new groove lasts for a few weeks. The poses you taught, the one that you wrote down, maybe those are ones you keep repeating, which is totally okay for like 3 weeks or so, and then it's like, okay, change. There's a teacher in Sacramento that would make a flow and teach the exact same flow every single class for a month. And this woman would teach like probably 10 classes a week in like 4 or 5 different studios. And every single studio, same class, every single class for a month. And there wasn't anything wrong with it. Sometimes it was nice because it was like that idea of Ashtanga. You knew where you were going. But then like for me, by the end of the month, I'm not even fucking going to class anymore. If I have to hear the word prostration one more time, so it was like a pose she was doing, like I'm never ever going to want to hear her talk ever again. So like I wouldn't go. But just putting in a sequence or a specific pose or something 3 times in the same month is no big deal. I don't expect y'all to do the same sequence, which you could if you wanted to. I'm just saying using little bits and pieces multiple times in 1 month is not bad. Getting people like used to a certain sequence is actually kind of a good thing because they can improve upon it if you do keep doing it the same way. Because a lot of times we have repeat people, like say people come to your class on Saturday, at least 5 of them, you know, are the same almost every week. So yeah. And then Kylie had said that she took an old flow that she had already written. I don't think she had time to write a new flow. That works too. Why keep redoing it when you could just do one that you already had planned? You know it, like the sequence part works. You just have to practice the teaching. So you like take out the effort from figuring out what to teach and then work with what you've already had, what you've already created. So, and that's actually, I think, why I kept so many of my flows. Only gone back maybe 10 or 12 times, and I've got like 150 of those things written down. So I won't say it always helps, but sometimes it's nice to go back and go like, man, I haven't done that move in like 3 months, you know, something like that. Or haven't taught it, haven't practiced it. Just try to stay fresh that way, you know, not always using the same sequence, moves, all that shit. Okay. Next, let's talk about, okay. Oh, my phone's gonna die.
So when are you hoping to have people sign up for the yoga training by?
Shit, as soon as possible. I mean, I'm hoping we have some by the end of the month because that's when the price goes up.
Yeah.
I know 3 people, one person that's like pretty much in, that's Samantha. And then Brandon and Tiffany are like, I'm working on a way. I have to figure out my means for like how they're going to pay, if it's a loan or grant, whatever. They're just working on that. I know they're yeses.
Okay, so there's definitely people.
Yeah, but that's all I know so far. Oh, Heidi is very, very interested, which we knew she would be, but she has a lot of fear, which is funny. She's like, can we have a serious conversation about it? I'm like, yeah, anytime. And we didn't get to be private, and Scott was there, and she explained everything. And I'm all, like, he was like, I'm afraid to leave home without Scott. Like, can he come on the retreat? And that was like her main thing. And then she started talking about like, I don't know, things that were basically like that you work on in the training. I mean, everything she was saying was like things that we work on. I'm like, well, I mean, sure, you could like not do the training if you don't want to face all these things, but it sounds like you already know you have all these things. So, I mean, if you really want to, you should do it. And then, no, Scott's not going to come with you, but we'll be there with you the whole time. And she was just like, but yeah, I think
those conversations always feel awkward, but usually you can walk away with them like a week later, just like, oh, okay, maybe I am interested in this.
yeah, after I walked away, she texted me. So I think we were good, but I felt like after I walked away, I was all, oh, maybe I like kind of like didn't give importance to her fears, you know, like I was like, maybe I discredited her a little bit and I feel bad about it. And I was about to text her and she had already texted me saying she was happy about our conversation. I was like, oh, okay, maybe she didn't feel that way. But I totally did. I like how I'm thinking if I like look back on myself and how I reacted to all her fears, I was just like, yeah, those are normal. Maybe you should like look at them and face them and try to move past them instead of just go, this is how I am. Like that's kind of how I feel bad, but that's how I reacted to her. I think maybe. But anyway, she asked who was interested in teacher training. I was talking about Heidi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Heidi and Samantha, Heidi, Tiffany, and Brandon are the ones that have told me that they're interested. But I think there's more than that. They're just people that are
Waiting.
Have you made
letting it
you made
marinate.
a poster or
I made a flyer. It's at the studio.
are there
So we
copies?
can, yes, you can take as many as you want. They're there. I would love help putting those up. I get really like weird at this. This is the stage where I kind of start to freak out and like want to just crawl in my hole and be like, I'm not good enough to put this flyer up somewhere. So it happens every time. Please help me. Every time. Every single time with the work in progress stuff, I'm like, what am I doing? I don't think this is a good idea. I'm not brave enough to put this poster up. But anyway,
I get it.
so yeah, I don't know. No one has given me a deposit yet, but I just put that on the website about what to do with the deposit and stuff. So, and an email goes out about the training tomorrow, which I think not tomorrow, Friday, which I think will be a big moment where I hear from people, because usually that's where people feel safe. Like it's a one-on-one personal, like they got an email from me and all they have to do is reply and they're talking to me directly. And I just invited them to think about teacher training. So if there's people, they'll probably crawl out of the woodwork on a Friday. So we'll see. I'm hoping that there's more than I know of. Really, really, really hoping there's more than I know of. Okay. Let's move on to the strange, questionable subject that we don't really all know what we're writing, but we're just trying to explore a thing. I mean, yes and no, because it's different for everyone. That's why what you wrote down was different from what she wrote down. It was So let's just go there and talk about that, and then I'll read what Kylie wrote, and we'll just see where we go with it. It doesn't have to be a long conversation. It's just trying to explore your own shit. Either if you want to go first or you want me to read Kylie's.
I can. Yeah, mine is kind of weird to talk about just because I've been like not feeling in the state of health lately.
It's a good thing then, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
So.
Maybe not.
No, not at all. Health means inner peace, nourishing my body with food that helps me thrive, allows me to live healthy, as well as keeping my body hydrated with water. Movement is an important factor because without it, there's built up energy that I hold on to. Feeding my mind with powerful thoughts is also important for my mental health. And I think that health is a combination and a balance of all of these. So without one, I would find lack. With too much of one, I'd feel unbalanced. To be healthy means to be thriving, to be at peace, and to be continually growing. I definitely think your body or your thoughts can create diseases in our bodies. When we're stressed, overwhelmed, we tend to shut down more easily. In these times, it's important to find balance. So maybe doing more of something else. We should strive for health and serving ourselves, because without it, there's so much of life that we miss out on. Without health, there's a big chunk of potential that you don't get to experience. I think that, especially as a yoga teacher, it's important to live by example. And that's all I wrote. And I guess that's a lot of reason why I'm like have like so much anxiety, or just like am feeling like I'm not living to my like best potential, because I've been sick and then I just don't feel like I am like worthy of telling somebody else,
what to do, how to do it,
like
how to be better, how to be best
like,
you.
Yeah, and
That's understandable. I like the one thing you said. I like multiple things that you said, and unfortunately I didn't get to write them all down because I was trying to listen. But one thing you're saying, like, without health, and I'm not going to say this right how you said it, but without health, like, you miss out on, like, your full potential. That's how you worded it. Miss out on.
Yeah, I like that too.
Because that's so true. Hence, and something else you said in the beginning about how, well, first you said something about stress being a disease and striving for balance. Or I was second. Right before that, you said something about stress and how, like, that keeps you from the health or doing the right things, right? And so you know that, like, movement is good for you, right? It helps move the energy that's kind of stuck and feeling funky. But, like, then you feel whatever it is, like the stress or the thing that keeps you from wanting to, like, walk out the door, get in your car, go do your movement practice, or go on your mat at home, whatever it is. But then, so that it's like a cycle, because, like, that then creates, like, the dis-ease, the discomfort, which makes you not want to go do the movement, which causes more stress, and you just keep going, round and round. So, but then you're talking about how you try to strive for balance. So I think at the end of the day, it's like recognizing that torrent that you get stuck in, and when you see yourself in it, go, I know this pattern. I've recognized it. I have stated it. Here it is. What is my answer to this? In my healthy bar and go unroll my mat, whatever it is, go unroll my mat, or go drink some water, whatever the thing is. I think there's, like, I see where you're going, and I feel like you keep bringing up stuff that you're aware of, that you're going, I don't like this thing, but I'm looking right out in the face. You too. You're both doing that right now. Like, I just feel like whatever it was that was, like, clouding your vision as being, like, that fogginess is being lifted. Now you can see yourself so clear, and you're just like, I know too much. You just know too much about where you want to go and where you are, and then you've got this new awareness. You can see everything in the middle, and then that's fucking stressful. Like, this is a huge transformative thing to do. This work is, this practice is. So understandable why the stress levels are so high. But part of the practice is, like,
acting on it,
but, like, kicking yourself out of the torrent, the loop that you're in. If you're in a loop, like, teach yourself the tools, the things, the practices, whatever it takes to get yourself out of the loop, out of the habit, deprogram. Because we get so stuck. You're not the only one. I do it too, constant. It's like, I feel like the rest of my life, like, sometimes I get annoyed that this is the truth, and sometimes I think it's fun because it's a game, but, like, the rest of my life, every time I realize I'm stuck in a little loop, like, my game is, like, how can I trip myself, like, fall out of the loop? I have to do something different. How can I disrupt this thing that is causing, like, the closest thing to contentment, and that's why I keep doing it. So staying at home, it's contentment, like, right? You don't have to go out and be around people when you're feeling really not good in your own skin or whatever it is. There's a piece of comfort that comes from not leaving your track.
Nest.
Yeah, your nest, your track, whatever it is that you're stuck in. I like what you wrote. It was enough. It was plenty. Actually, that exact thing that you wrote is what we will use when we start discussing about like training and what to eat, not to eat, what you're thinking. It has more to do with what you want to do and less to do with like what people are trying to tell you to do. Because you want it to be attainable and achievable. Like if you're trying to change what you're eating. Like I remember like not that long ago when you did the FODMAP thing and it was just like this big list. I'm like, I don't even know. I just know there's a big list of shit that I'm not eating. Like at the end of the day, it should be something that resonates with you and why you're doing it. It shouldn't just be like, right now I'm trying this because I read it in the book that it's good for you. Like, sure, at first you're just trying it and that's fine. But when you're really trying to create like a daily or a weekly practice, it should be something that makes sense to you, not something that you're overall just trying. Like it should already be what you already know, just like when you teach. It's what you already know. That's what you're teaching. What you already know is what you should be practicing, not a whole new diet with a whole bunch of rules that you have to start following. Like start with like what's simple. You know what the stupid food pyramid looks like, you know, not that that's supposed to be like incredibly accurate, but you know, there's information from that you know to be true, that you don't have to rely on somebody else's information on what to do right and wrong. All right, how about you go?
Okay. What my body wants to be asleep by 10 p.m. Wants to stretch in the morning. Wants better posture, so I'm not slouching so much or cocking my head. Oh, my head's usually cocked. And a masseuse recently told me, she's like, that might be one of the reasons why your neck is so straight, because you just like,
it's always just like you're like a dog pondering.
I'm always pondering.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah. I need some better sleep positions, a better mattress, a better pillow, because I wake up in so much pain.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue is. I'm wondering if it's those things. I don't want my phone in my bed, and I've been working on that. And one of my phone cord, it was long, but it just broke on me, and so now I'm using a short phone cord, and so it won't reach my bed.
That's
yeah,
a good,
I put it in the kitchen. I know.
We'll
Well,
move further to the whole next room.
no, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
But for now, I'm just like, well, I can't reach it on the bed, so I guess it's on the floor.
I like it. All right.
So yeah, it's great for me. I want at least 2 hours a day away from my phone, like during the daytime, and leave my phone for at least 1 hour at night in another room, like when I'm home, when I get back from work.
Oh, good call at home.
Yeah, and I've been doing a pretty good job. Like I'll go put it in my room, shut the door, and just do something else.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I've been putting it on silent a lot more, and I just feel liberated. I'm like, yeah, I don't care about people. And yeah, your situations are not emergencies to me.
Oh my gosh, she's growing so much.
I know.
Here.
It's
our
great.
baby's all grossed up.
I know. I want to do daily meditations, which I've been on and off. I'll do them for a week, and then like I'll get busy with something. Like this week, I've fallen off a bit, but that's okay. I'm not judging myself. I'm like, you do it when you can do it. Want to do yoga at least twice a week, and then more in the future. My body wants to feel clean, so it's important for me to shower and brush my teeth. I want warm tea, and I want some warm soup. I like the warmth on my throat. I need a minimum of 2 uninterrupted hours at work. Really, it would be great if I could have a whole 8 hours at work. No one talks to me. But I don't get that. But if I can,
I can't even imagine.
when I'm trying to catch up on things, I'm like, I need a freaking do not disturb sign. Don't have it. That's okay. I need time to myself to read, journal, and meditate. I need to spend undivided attention with my partner every day.
Is this mind want or body want? Or where are you at on your list?
All body.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, I'm just
Uninterrupted with your partner.
Yeah, because it makes me feel loved and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
And then need to be going to therapy at least once a month. Need to keep working on my boundaries with family and at work. so I'm not taking on more than I can handle. I need to spend time in nature, go on walks, go biking, sit in a hammock. It's not something I do, but I'm like, my body needs that.
Yeah, I know, you're so right. Sit in a hammock. I need that too, and I don't do it.
Today at work, I was like, I just want to sit in like that. And my coworker's like, have you ever done that before? I was like, no.
No, but it
I
sounds
just
good.
I
sounds
want to do that though. I know if you ever get to it. And then I realized recently that I want warmth and want some like layers of clothing or need a little bit of sun, but not too much sun because if there's too much sun or heat, I get angry, especially if I'm trying to concentrate or if I'm cleaning or if I'm exercising. Very specific. Some cuddles for my pets and my partner. Need to do a daily gratitude practice. I need a lot of yin to balance out all my yang. And I think that's why when I always make comments of like, oh, I just want relaxing classes, because when I go to yoga, my body, I'm finally paying attention to my body, and it's like, you need to stop. Like, so I'm like, you need to do more yin classes. Yeah, it's interesting because I'm so exhausted, and I'm like, I need to be in yin. Why am I in power right now? But I know the power is good for me, but I just I'm so overstimulated and I overfunction. So my body needs more yin to balance myself. I need more attention to my breath because I don't breathe a lot and shallow breathing. So I have to be like, inhale and like, whoa, I can breathe. Huh. And then I need attention to my body, mindfulness. I need to take a massage every month.
Oh yeah.
I've messaged my masseuse and she's not responding back to me. And I'm like, girl, you got my money. You gotta respond. I need at least 9 hours of uninterrupted, restful, dreamless sleeping.
9 hours. That's your number?
Yeah. Oh, I want like 12 hours, but I know that's probably not good. I love sleeping. I'm working on most of these. I need to improve my sleep habits, decrease my stimuli in life, and increase my boundaries. And then after I wrote this, I wrote my like manifestations for the full moon. And so it's like, oh, this is perfect timing to be like thinking about these things I need and try to like manifest these. And that was super powerful to just like write out all the things that I'm wanting in my life. Yeah, it was awesome. And so now it's fun, like whenever something positive happens, I've been saying to Steven, I freaking manifested that. And he's like, what?
Oh my God, I could so see him being like, okay.
No, he was kind of into it though, which made me so happy because I didn't think he would be, but he said in this book that he read, it said like, that's what you need to do is you need to, think of the things that you want and, same as if they're happening now. So I was like, oh, okay, he kind of connects to that.
Nice.
But yeah, on one of those nice days, he was like, you want to go on a bike ride? I was like, oh, I manifested bike rides. We never go on a bike ride. Well, except for when it was summertime. Anyway, so like, it's just been so exciting. And then like, I did a lot of manifesting on my sexual health. And so
I'm really proud of you for saying that.
We'll see how it goes. But I just really wanted him to like understand and support my sexuality. And he like was asking me like out of the blue, like what I was needing. And we were just like having conversations. So I was like, I manifested that. It was so crazy. Proud of you right now. Anyway, there's still lots of room to go.
That's a hard one, but that's so great that the door's open.
Yeah,
and he
so
opened the door and started asking questions. That's super awesome.
Yeah, so
I love
positive things come my way, loving it, and I'm just like, I'm so excited to like, I was so angry with 2018, but I'm like, no, I had so many life lessons, and now I'm like 2019, I'll reap all the benefits of my hard work. I'm sure there'll be lots of down moments, but hey, I'm on a positive kick at the moment. So
you are, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's
a new me.
I swear, every week I see you, you're like brighter, a little shinier, a little lighter, a little bit lighter.
Yeah, but again, I acknowledge it's not always going to be perfect.
Of course, it's a process and a fucking roller coaster because, next week you're going to be like, it's all fantastic.
But take advantage of like
now. Right now it's lovely seeing you this way.
I like it a lot.
Oh, before we move on. Oh, wait, are you done? You still have one?
Yeah, that was all of them.
Oh, okay. I was going to say a couple of them. One, the yin. I resonate with that so hard because like I know that I also need a lot of yang But it's, for me, it's like I need to go a little bit harder than what I'm already going to do to like keep myself busy. But more than that, I need to stop and chill out and do yin. So what's so funny is, you might have come across this, like you like to teach a certain way, and usually you like to teach what you like to practice, right? Like how when you go to yin yang, you both teach yin yang, perfect. When you go to yin yang, the way you like it, like that's the way you teach it, right? So yin. There are so many theories on how to teach it and how like you can do some yang things in it, but like I'm under this mentality where there's X amount of time. This is the only amount of time I have to teach yin. So people came because they need more yin in their life. So like I am like the yin or the yiniest of the yin, yin, yin. That's not necessarily right. That's just how I do it, because if I needed to stop, that's what I want. And so it's so funny because Becky and I, the closer, like the more we are able to talk to each other about feedback and stuff, the closer and more honest we can be. And so like I'll go to her yin class and go, if you make me do that stupid shit, put my arms over my head, inhale, exhale, I ain't doing it. I'm gonna lay down. She just starts laughing them off. I don't need yang in my yin. She's like, I know, you come, you need to relax. And like for her, she loves that shit. She loves to do Gomukhasana arms and fold forward, and like that's relaxing for her. That's the least relaxing thing for me ever. I do enjoy a nice shoulder stretch. I do enjoy a nice hip stretch, but like together, these things are not, I can't create a yin experience out of it for myself. So if she ever teaches that, I don't do it. And then afterwards she goes, I like to do it. I'm like, yeah, because you're trying to mess up my yin? Like I'm trying to get all yin in here. I gotta like change it. And but no, but the point is I understand needing the yin. I also understand like how your version of what you need should be like what you teach. So I didn't go to your yin the other night because I was away, but I'm just hoping that whatever it is you feel like you need more of, that you just pour all that into what you teach, because that's what we share the best, what we need.
Yeah.
Kylie. Okay. So I started reading this and it got really confusing. So I was like, what the hell does this have to do with? So she has a lot of stuff on here. I think it might take me a little while to read it, but I'm going to read a few of hers, and if you have any feedback and stuff, we'll just talk. All right, so my mind wants everything to be perfect without any effort. If I could just picture things and they would happen, my mind would be content. Perfection is impossible. Get over that idea. Instead, focus on improving in the things you do. Practice yoga more on your own. Pay more attention to details. Pick and choose the things that really matter to you and make those a priority. That's what the mind wants. Oh, and then she said, it also wants knowledge. Read more books. Invest more time into learning new things. Stay close with people who share the love of knowledge and can contribute to yours. Be brave and bold in what you choose to read. Take suggestions from other people. It also wants to be understood by me and others. This looks like myself understanding the questions I am asking myself. Kind of weird concept, having the knowledge and courage to answer myself even if I don't want to hear it. Allowing others to have a closer look at my understanding of myself. In turn, they will begin to understand. It also wants me to express my ideas. This would look like taking some of my amateur poetry to an open mic night. I love that, Kylie. Didn't even know that was a thing for you. Or putting something on social media for others to read and interpret. Yeah, you need to express yourself, girl. It wants me to be brave and stand up in all situations. Know what you believe in and always have the mindset of speaking up when it is your place, or even when it's not, because who gives a cuss? It wants freedom to think how it wants. Just give your damn mind the freedom. All right, that was all mind. My body wants to be taken care of, treated with respect, showing it love and attention, and giving it the time it needs to be healthy, to feel good, to be strong. This seems like it can be accomplished by a proper diet and routine. Days should consist of like breakfast, enough protein to fuel me, chicken, fish, turkey, fruits and veggies, healthy fats, avocado, fish, nuts, and sometimes some dessert. That's definitely fueling. Weekly steps to begin healthy and strong. Maintaining a good balance of food, 2 to 3 yoga movement practice per week, 1 to 2 movement sessions on my own, time to relax and be alone with my pup. puppers, time spent with people who lift my spirits. Checking in monthly could be observing how well I accomplished or committed to the things I just said above, how my energy levels are, how my clothes are fitting, how many and what types of classes I devoted my time to, how much time I did for me, nothing specific, just things I enjoy. It wants release, love, and attention. My body, as does anyone's, craves sensual pleasure. It can be difficult to find a person who can let into the deepest, most personal part of your life. Amen to that. A time when you don't have a lover is a great time to explore self-pleasure. Yay for vibrators. I love it. It wants comfort and ease, energy and stimulation. These seem to be polar opposite wants. Comfort and ease will come from establishing routines and sticking to them, although I never want to get too comfortable. Energy and stimulation can come from exploring, resting, routine, challenging yourself mentally and physically. It wants to be safe. It wants to run in the sun. I love how you guys both said sun. Did you say anything about sun? I didn't either, but I was thinking it. Now I'm thinking it. It wants interaction with my humans, with my dog. It wants to sweat. It wants fatigue so it can gain strength and endurance. All seem like things I can accomplish by doing them physically, tying in with movement and activity. And then soul is left, and it's really long. It looks really good though. All right, I'm reading it. My soul wants to heal. It wants to be whole. Taking time after heartache and a breakup to fully love yourself again. I'll just correct you, Kylie, to fully love myself again. That is what will and has helped me feel whole again. It wants faith, compassion, and trust from others and from myself. You said yourself, myself. Maybe it's just putting that faith in someone until they prove to you they deserve otherwise. Trusting yourself can be hard when you find it hard to trust those around you. Can I trust myself to be honest? What's stopping me from looking in the mirror and lying to myself? Lots of questions, not too many answers for this one. It wants to flourish. It wants to know for sure, certainty. Seems like this might connect with knowledge and trust within myself. It wants warmth, tingling feelings, genuine feelings. Sometimes feelings gross me out. I like love in movies because it's perfect. It never spoils. And if it does, it always comes back in the end. Rom-coms for life. Finding genuine feelings might start with myself and being careful who I allow into my life and in my heart. It wants clarity, understanding, light, purity, but also wants pleasure, pain, satisfaction, and risk. Seems messy, not sure, probably my indecisiveness peeking out here. I want all of the things, but none of the trouble they might bring. God damn it, I'm with you, Kylie. It wants to feel challenged and vulnerable, but safe in practice. Again, opposite spectrums here. Vulnerability is dangerous and can bring about pain and risk. Safety is something you find when not taking risks. It's safe to stay where you're at, where you know you can be. Don't let your guard down too much or it's not safe. Okay, it keeps going. Oh, never mind. It's almost done. Yeah. And that's the next thing, right? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop. Cool. That was a lot, but it was some good stuff. Do you have any comments?
I was just thinking about our last thing of vulnerability is like dangerous, but if there's the other side to it of if you do it, yeah, it's dangerous because there's risk involved, but there's magic after you. Yeah, when you be vulnerable and it works out for you, because you get all those butterflies. I recently heard someone say, when you get the butterflies, don't run away from them, because that's when memories happen. So it's like, pay attention to those and embrace whatever situation is happening, unless it's a traumatic one. But listen to those butterflies.
Sometimes the fear, butterflies fear.
Oh yeah, but if it's a good, but yeah.
Either way, you can learn.
I mean, like with love, it's vulnerable and it's safer to never love, but then you'll never experience joy and pleasure.
So true. So true.
I love everything she said. Good stuff.
Yes, all good stuff. Since I was reading, I couldn't take notes, but I kind of commented along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that with me so that we could put that in our conversation. All right, so her authenticity and wholehearted is kind of short, so I'm going to start with that, and then we'll go back around about that one, and then we'll go back to the list of things, contracting and expanding. So for authenticity, this was she wrote: being authentic, being true, being you, having faith in what you do. To be authentic, you have to be honest with yourself and know who you are. People change a lot, and sometimes it's hard to know what is the truth, but accepting your ever-changing outlook on life, your growing knowledge, you want to move, change, create, feel, will help get you to a place where you are your authentic self. People struggling with knowing their gender or sexual orientation or whatever people are kind of claiming these days, not super knowledgeable on that. This could lead to people not living an authentic life. For me, I put on a face for whatever situation I'm in. The only time I feel like my true self is during yoga or time spent with ones who allow me to be true. Sometimes even at the studio early on or at Great Life, I felt like I just had to be quiet and not talk because I didn't know anyone. It's a continuous battle. As long as you fight for yourself every day, you're winning. And then wholehearted, and I'm just going to read this little paragraph she said about wholehearted living. Wholehearted living seems similar to living authentically, except you are putting your heart behind it. Maybe it is doing all the things that your heart desires, or doing things out of the love of your heart. I don't know, sounds silly. Maybe it's looking at things from the point of view of your heart, listening to it. How much of your soul is in your heart? Are they the same thing? Heart and soul seems legit. Okay.
I like how she says that, to be authentic, you kind of have to do the work. Like it just doesn't come out.
So true.
Just
So true.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Of like, you gotta fight for yourself in order to be authentic, and I like to see a little equation: wholeheartedness equals authenticity plus heart.
so true.
True. And I don't know for sure, but I know you've read some Brene Brown stuff, right? I know you both have. I don't know if Kylie has. And I don't know if Kylie knows that that's where the subject matter came from, wholehearted living and authenticity, because that's like her whole, everything she writes about, talks
That's
about,
where you got it from?
leads back to that. Yeah,
Is it-
just because.
I'm reading a book right now. What's it called? It's pretty
Is it
broad.
hers?
I'm like, I'm
Is
not
it Rising Strong?
No, it's
Dare,
I wrote about it.
Dare Greatly? Dare to
No.
Lead?
It's the Gifts and Imperfections.
Oh, I'm so glad you're reading that.
Yeah, and it's really.
I was
good.
going to have you read that for my teacher training
It's
anyway.
amazing. Yeah.
Oh, it's
But
so good.
that's
I read
why-
it in mine, and it like game changer for me.
That's
I
what
can
I've
see how
been-
that's a game changer for you.
Yeah, kind of what I wrote about all of it, but it's pretty much like where she's getting at without, Brene Brown has a data to to talk about it, but like that's kind of what Kylie was saying is you have to know who you are, and you have to do the work, and it's a practice.
So true. Why don't you go ahead and talk about what you wrote for?
Sure. Living wholeheartedly is hard for me to describe because the concept is new to me. I think that much like yoga, living wholeheartedly is a practice that you have to be willing to do for the rest of your life. I've been reading a book called The Gifts of Imperfection, and in it, Dr. Brene Brown defines it as engaging in our lives from a place of worthiness. It means cultivating the courage, compassion, and connection to wake up in the morning and think, no matter what gets done and how much is left undone, I'm enough. It's going to bed at night thinking, yes, I'm imperfect and vulnerable and sometimes afraid, but that doesn't change the truth that I'm also brave and worthy of love and belonging. And that's like, I could get that tattooed on me if I want. Like, I love it. It's definitely not easy. It's not an easy practice for me. It takes a lot of courage to live this way, to speak up. It takes me out of my comfort zone, and it makes me vulnerable. She also says something that I absolutely love, so I'll share it. And quoting this, here's what I found. Men and women who live wholeheartedly dig deep. They do it in a different way, though. when they're exhausted and overwhelmed, they get deliberate in their thoughts and behaviors through prayer, meditation, or simply setting intentions. I think that's pretty cool because I could use this and I should use this, but when you're overwhelmed, they like go back to like their intention. I think that's really cool. And then for her, that's what wholehearted living means. And then once you do make an intention and you go back to the intentions, you take action. So living a wholehearted life means owning your story and letting yourself in the process. Living this way is also contagious. I feel like it inspires others to do the same. And I've seen it with like, for me, like when I talk about my stuff at work or like people start to follow, and now like people come to me to like, you know, tell me about their stuff, and they know that I'm not gonna judge them because I feel it, like I feel you type of thing. She also said, owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives learning from it. Embracing our vulnerabilities is risky, but not nearly as dangerous as giving up on love and belonging and joy. The experiences that make us most vulnerable, only when we're brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light. And then she has 10 guideposts for wholehearted living. And each of them is like a chapter in the book. And so like the first one is being authentic and letting go of what people think. Second one is self-compassion, letting go of perfectionism. Third one is letting go of numbing and powerlessness. Fourth is gratitude. Fifth is intuition, trusting faith. Sixth is creativity, letting go of comparison, and then so on. There's a few more, but yeah, that's what I wrote.
That's such a good book.
Oh my
And
gosh,
did you haven't read that one, right? Yeah, but all of hers are. But that is her first. So like that's where like maybe that's her second.
It's
Either
yeah.
I think it's her second. But either way, it all her research that started like when it first came to a head, like and she finally came over the hump to the other side. She wrote that book. So that's like it's like it's just like so data driven, like to read it, you're like, you would because of that data driven nature of it. The rest of her books are amazing, but they all come from that. They all come from everything she learned from that. And that's why it's so good. Cause it's almost annoying how she pins you so perfectly that you like can't feel alone. You can't be like, I'm the only one in this hole, because like she will pin you to a T and you're all, dang, like, this is just how the humans function, how we work, how we think. And so anyway, that's a really good book. That is where we came from. I'm glad you quoted it, because the whole awesome. Point of me bringing it up was like to talk more about that book. And you've actually just summarized some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. So perfect. A couple of things you said. One thing that you mentioned about, you're talking about going back to that intention. And then I don't know how you flip-flopped and said something about like people at work, like noticing what you're doing. And one thing I was just thinking today, I met with someone else that I'm coaching, and same idea. She had said that like people in her life had been noticing the work that she had been doing. And that's what's so funny is like we so often think like to help people, we have to do this for them. But if we take our intention, turn it inward, and keep doing the thing that we're trying to do for ourselves, like we end up impacting, influencing, rubbing off on these people. They just see us doing our thing. And sometimes that's the best thing you could ever do for them. Like maybe for your mom, that's the best thing you could ever do for her, is just keep doing you. Like the person you're hoping someday she evolves to be before she dies, like you just try to be that person for yourself. And that's the best thing we can do half the time, is just be the best we can be, and then it wears off. And with that, I was going to say, with that, and like recognizing like that's your job, that's your intention, it comes back to you. It's not, sure, part of your intention could be to serve the world, but like you can't serve shit without having you to be able to serve it. So for me personally, when you were talking about that and kind of how you worded it, and like when you said people notice what you were doing, like for me it's like there's this lightness, there's like this everything that you're working on can become so heavy, but to know that like within your aura, within your work, within all the shit that you're walking through, there's like a lesson, things that are being shared, like without you having to like share them, like people are seeing it, and it's having an impact like through your aura, through your regular life experiences, like all the kind of like connections you're making as you meet people as you go. Like there's this beautiful lightness to it that we don't always see when we're right in the middle of the dark and the shit, but like the truth is it's always there. What time do they close?
I hope not soon. I was just
It might be 7. I can't read that sign. I was all gonna open the door. She's 7. Okay, it's okay.
We got 15 minutes.
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
My authenticity is not very long. So if you
Okay,
want me to just
sure,
read it,
yeah,
yes.
go for it.
Being authentic is when you can just be yourself regardless of what anybody else thinks, regardless of what you want people to think of you. And when you live wholeheartedly, being authentic just follows. It's hard to be authentic when you aren't living a wholehearted life. I think that abundance happens when you live this way. You manifest the things you want, you're happier, and you create healthy relationships with other people. When you're not living to your true potential, it's easier to find that most of your relationships are toxic. When you're living authentic, your relationships with others and yourself changes. Being authentic is having self-love and having self-care. When you live authentically, you really have to be vulnerable and sometimes selfish. I used to think being authentic was someone who was perfect and pure. Now I think that being authentic is allowing yourself to be yourself regardless of your imperfections.
So true. Like regardless, like unapologetic. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's the word I think of when I think of authenticity, and like unapologetic, like or
I'm not
unapologetically.
sorry.
That's all what I think when I think of authenticity, because that's just real. Like you shouldn't be like, I don't know, you shouldn't be sorry all the time for existing and for thinking and for doing all the things you do. You should just be like, that's me, and just unapologetic about it. So anyway, I like that summary that you wrote about. And you're right. I think they go together. Wholehearted, like a wholehearted like practice, like creates an authentic life. Like whether you're flawed in that practice and how well it's actually going doesn't matter. It's that if you're working on it, then you can, I believe, that you become more authentic.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with if you're not being authentic, then you're letting in toxic.
Yes. Oh, all the toxic
It's
stuff,
like-
relationships. Yes. It's so true, because I think the authenticity, like if you think about like boundaries, like those are born from authenticity. Yeah. And if you're like, I think the moment that you don't hold up the boundary is you going like, okay, I'm not going to be honest or authentic because I like holding this boundary up is way harder than, I thought. But that makes sense. That's so true. I like that.
So true, girl.
So true. All right, your turn. What's up?
I just, for authenticity, I was thinking it's being real, genuine, honest, kind, down to earth, vulnerable, transparent, having integrity, boundaries, self-love, and knowing your priorities. And then wholehearted living is happiness. It's like responding versus reacting, calmness, boundaries, compassion, vulnerability, self-love, integrity, empathy, leadership, mindfulness, and peace. I, as well, was writing some stuff that Brene Brown said on wholehearted living. She was saying, engaging our lives from a place of worthiness, which you said, feeling worthy of love and belonging. It's the courage to live with an unarmored heart. It's being vulnerable to love. I don't know what that word is. To love and be loved. And then integrating our thinking, our feelings, our behaviors, and naming, identifying, and processing all of those things. Like just, owning your stuff, owning this is what I'm feeling. These are my actions, and what does that mean? Embracing your messiness and all of your shadows, and then having a strong back, which means that you're being vulnerable, you're being curious, and you're practicing skills, having boundaries, and then having a soft front, which also means you're being vulnerable and curious. And then a wild heart, which is being fierce and kind all at the same time. So she says, like, too often people guard their front and they have a weak spine. So it's like we get oversensitive or people can destroy us easily. But she's like, no, you gotta have firm back, but soft heart and just being wild.
heart.
Or soft heart.
Can you
wild
maybe
heart.
share that quote?
Yeah.
Would you mind? Do you
Yeah.
have that handy? Like,
Yeah,
okay, like on Facebook. I just want to write it down and have
I know
it. 'Cause
she
really
had
love
too
that.
much great stuff to say.
She does.
She really
Yeah, even from an article found on Psychology Today, it said authenticity is more about the character of a person and what's behind what they're saying. So an authentic person, they will have realistic perceptions of reality. They're accepting of themselves and of other people. They're thoughtful. They have a non-hostile sense of humor. They're able to express their emotions freely and clearly. They're opening to learning from their mistakes and understanding their motivations. But an inauthentic person, they will have they'll be self-deceptive and unrealistic in their perceptions of reality. They'll look to others for approval and to feel valued. They're judgmental of other people. They don't do things through clearly. I don't know. They don't, something about clear. They don't have they have a hostile sense of humor, unable to express their emotions freely and clearly. They're not open to learning from their mistakes, and they don't understand their motivations. So then I said, I want to live with authenticity and wholeheartedness. Brene Brown's book has given me lots of tools and inspiration to do this. I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm committed to it. I'm practicing it, and I'm screaming. I don't know. Trying it again. Oh, I'm screwing it up. Like, I'm trying things, and it's freaking sucking, and I'm trying it again, and Brene's like, that's how it's supposed to work, so I'm excited.
Good.
My negative thoughts, judgments of myself and other people, my weak boundaries, my armored heart, my perfectionism, my over-passionateness that makes me stubborn and cocky, my silence on issues that matter to me, and my anxieties hold me back from authenticity and wholehearted living. But my strong self-awareness and self-reflection, curiosity, eagerness to learn, grow, improve, compassion, empathy, acknowledgement, and working on my shadows, acknowledging my problems and working on them, my commitment to the process, openness, and deep processing will help me work toward authenticity and wholehearted living. Anyway.
Yeah. I like how you said, like, this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm trying.
That's the end of it.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, damn sure. I mean, like you said, like, it's a practice. It
Yeah.
doesn't ever end. It's forever. It honestly is forever. It's almost like when I first started reading that book and like learning about this stuff, and I'm like connecting all these dots in this place of like, oh, it's finally making sense. And I don't know, somehow when you gain the knowledge of it making sense, somehow it's a little lighter, even if you can't like apply it yet, right? You just understand a little better.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking like, I need to like write myself a book, and then I need to be able to have that for the next time I like come to life. And it's like, and like bypass all this shit, get straight to the important information.
That would be
Here it
nice.
is, right here. Because I just feel like it was life changing to like read her perspective on things and just understand like how we are kind of like wired to think and feel, and then how to move past it. And to be perfectly honest, since I've read that book, I'm not going to say I'm perfect, because it's literally always a roller coaster, but using the practice and the knowledge that I learned from that book has given me so much confidence, that and doing what I do and teaching and stuff. But it started with that. It started with understanding those things about like shame and like wholeheartedness, and connecting like authenticity with wholeheartedness. And I like how you were talking about like wholehearted, like owning and processing all your stuff. So like wholehearted meaning like let it all flow through you, like let it hit you like a bus, you know, like let the hurricane wind smack you right in the face and move through you, and you process it as it happens, like, or as soon as you can afterward as it happens. But the point is, I just feel like when you do that and you have the courage or the willpower, whatever it takes to own and process everything as it happens, and you're not, it's like life's not stuck to you as it flows through, then like that for me is like this ultimate goal for wholehearted, unapologetic, authentic living. Because it's like you don't become heavier. You're not like grabbing more baggage as you move through life. Like if things are flowing, but like when things aren't flowing and things are getting stuck and you're contemplating things and you're worried about things or you're stuck in some sort of fear-based like situation or experience, it's not flowing. You're just stuck in a little torrent that's moving through you. And that's when I feel like I lose that ability to live more genuinely and wholeheartedly and authentically is when I get stuck in those little torrents. So I think that's why ever since I like started this work and this practice and reading and understanding that stuff, that I'm constantly trying to kick myself out of those torrents, that reprogram, because I know those are the things that are keeping me from like that authentic, like what my heart wants, like moving towards that direction. Like I know that those little torrents are like programmed, habitual, fear-based things most of the time.
Definitely programmed.
Courage to live. Oh, and yeah, more, I just love the line you said that, and probably was from Brene. Courage to live with an unarmored heart.
Yeah.
God, so true.
So hard to do, but
So hard to do.
practice.
Practice,
Well,
practice, practice.
Make it easier.
Just keep practicing. All right. So this is where we're at. We didn't get to expanding and contracting. That's okay. So we'll take that into next week. Let's take that into next week. What did we just do? I had a thought on. No, we should answer that. Okay, I have a fun thing now. I'm realizing what it was, but you already kind of did it in your assignment. Okay, we'll talk about expanding and contracting. We'll go over assisting too. So we'll start.
Oh, we were gonna go over chanting too. But
that's what it was, chanting. I just know that the two things next are chanting and assisting that I want to do. So chanting is not going to take too long. I'm going to give you, because we're going to have to come back to it. Like it's the kind of thing that we should probably record it if you want it to have it for yourself. We'll do it together. I personally only have so many, right? So like everywhere I go, I've picked them up. Usually some people just teach me one. I learned one in teacher training. I learned another one in yoga therapy training. And I learned another one, I learned like 20 in Kundalini training. So I'm going to teach you my go-to faves.
You're talking about like the low class.
Low class on Masa, the Om Namah Shivaya, and then the Guru Wahe Guru. Basically 3 go-tos. I might teach you more than that, but I probably will just teach you those 3 because like you pick them up as you go. Like mine can't necessarily be yours. These will just be ones you have. If one of them really resonates with you, you can use it. How I started with it is like the Om Namah Shivaya, the really long one is the one that was the first one. And I learned it in Bali on the first retreat I went, and I came home and like I was trying to sing it in my car to remember it because I didn't want to forget it. And that's and then we learned it in teacher training again. So I learned it twice. It was the same teacher. So I learned it twice, and then it really, really stuck. And then after that, I picked up a couple others. But like I usually start with one that really, really resonates and just try to sing it and sing it and sing it and sing it until like the thing that what I realize is if I just keep singing it over and over again, it's not about memorizing the words. They'll just be a memory of what comes next in my mind. So actually what's funny is when I sing them in class now, if I try to think of the word before it comes, I will like all of a sudden completely lose it and I can't even finish the chant. It's happened. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's happened to me where I'm all, it's gone. Like I was trying so hard to think of the word because it's like fucking Sanskrit.
What do you do?
Oh my,
I don't think
this is
anyone knows.
embarrassing. No, I've had to say something like, that's the end of the chant. No, I guess seriously, one time it just was so gone and it was the most awkward, like my brain, it is fried and it's gone and I can't bring it back. That's like that's literally how I ended it because I don't know what happened. I freaked out.
Yeah, I think I was in that class, but you were very gracious about it.
I've done it multiple times, the freak out thing. Yeah, I know I've done it here a couple times, maybe twice, and before that. So anyway, that won't take long because I'm just going to share with you mine. That should probably take like 30 minutes. There's only 3 that I'm going to share, I think, now that I'm saying it out loud. I have more, but
there's one that I really
touch
like.
Me.
But I forgot.
It's probably the Guru Wahe Guru one. It's not.
I'll have to write it down.
Not one I sing, a different one. Oh, good. Bring the bring it to the table. It's powerful when you do it with the group. Bring it then. Bring it on our next one, and in like maybe a YouTube of how it's done, the one you like, and we can try it.
I think Robin plays the song sometimes, but
Oh, maybe it's one I do know. Okay.
I think you might
Because
know.
Robin and Becky both play a song of one I love, but I don't ever sing it. Okay, we'll do that, and then we'll start assisting. Like I said, we could go through every single pose and do assist, which is kind of what I want to head towards, but more like as a club thing. We're trying to figure it out, and we don't literally try to go through every single pose in our training because that's like crazy. But like the concepts, kind of like when I drew the pose and we did the lines and we're pushing and pulling and pressing and that idea with assisting. And then we'll just talk about like how to use it. And then, like I said, future goals and plans is to have almost like an assisting club where we meet and like share and we practice on each other. Cause that's the best thing to do. Cause you want someone to go, hey, when you do this, this is how it feels. Like for perfect example, this is one thing I'm looking forward to just saying. When I used to go to Power Vinyasa, I did the cool rags, and we can leave after I say this. We did the cool rags. Some people, every teacher put them on your head totally differently. And because of that experience, I realized how I don't want to do it to people. And one thing is that Becky will do, and I've never told her this, I just noticed it from this experience, is like they'll have one hand, they're holding the other towels, you can just tell what's happening. The other towels are in the hand, they have one hand, and they have the towel. And it'll like hit the temple, and then she'll lay it over. It's kind of like surprising. It's not hard. It doesn't matter, but it's just it's not even, and it doesn't happen. And then she has one hand, and then she just goes like this. Nothing wrong with that, but it's cold. It's very cold. So you have to be mindful, like how hard you press down. And like in that other studio, they would do that. I had that experience, and I had just like 2-3 fingers, like pushing down right here. So personally, I realized the least shocking thing was to set the other towels down, both hands, start in the middle, wrap it around, and just touch all 3 points, like here and here, instead of like smashing it down because it's so cold, because it kind of like can shock you. So I started realizing from my personal experiences that was how I should do it, not the other way. So those are the things I want to do together. We do it to each other, and then you can just right immediately give the feedback and go, hey, that I didn't like that. Like that felt funny, or that felt rushed, or that felt unintentional or unconscious, or whatever it might be. So that's where we will go when we meet, and I want to meet in the studio so we can start doing some hands-on stuff. Bam. That's it. Recording complete.
What discussions do you do?
Leave it. No.
Okay.
Just bring your chant. Bring the one that you're interested in doing.